Okay, let's get into this. Anyone still thinking innovations like only happening in Silicon Valley? Well, the sources we've pulled together today really challenge that idea. We're doing a deep dive into global tech success stories, specifically how companies scale massively by solving, really tough local problems.
Yeah, exactly. The big takeaway here isn't copying some Western model. It's about mastering the hyperlocal stuff, like navigating tricky payment systems or dealing with old school banking. They build solutions that just leapfrog what was there before.
Right. Let's start in Asia. That's a real powerhouse for growth, especially mastering hyperlocal logistics. Think about Grab in Southeast Asia. Started pretty simple, right? A
Right.
taxi app. But they won big because they got the region, the cash-based economy, the crazy traffic patterns better than anyone else.
Oh, absolutely. Grab is like the classic super app play. They saw that where digital stuff is patchy, you win by bundling everything essential. So not just rides, food delivery, logistics, and finance like GrabPay, they became indispensable.
Yeah.
That's after they bought Uber's business there in 2018. That was huge.
Okay, so Grab nailed logistics, but what about Momo in Vietnam? How did they connect the digital world with people mostly using cash? They didn't have Grab's kind of infrastructure to start with, did they?
No, they didn't. Momo's genius was different. It was realizing you have to bring digital access to the user. Their big advantage wasn't fancy tech initially. It was, believe it or not, this huge network of actual people, physical spots where you could cash in and cash out. That built trust and access for millions who didn't have bank accounts. Basically, a bank network without any branches, all across Vietnam.
Wow, okay. So moving from those big consumer logistics plays, let's pivot to Europe. Here, it seems more about super specialized B2B stuff, deep tech, like DeepL out of Germany.
Yeah, DeepL's is fascinating. They really changed the game in translation quality. While the giants may be focused on just translating more, DeepL AI digs into context, into nuance. It's not just word for word. It gets the intent. That's why the translations often sound way more natural. Professionals love it.
And that focus on precision, you see that with Wizard in Denmark too, right? Their thing is making design accessible. Like, this AI tool turns a quick sketch or even just text into working mock-ups
Yeah,
and front-end code.
exactly. Wizard's value is cutting out the friction, especially for people who aren't designers. It just massively speeds up prototyping, which, is a huge bottleneck everywhere, startups or big companies. They've cleverly used AI to lower the need for specialist skills early on.
Okay, let's shift again. Latin America tackling big institutional problems. Nubank in Brazil. They went up against this notoriously complex, high-fee banking system.
Nubank's insight there was, well, brilliant. They used tech to bypass all the inefficiency and, frankly, the mistrust in the old banks. It launched with a simple, no-fee credit card, all managed in an app. Simplicity and transparency, that was their weapon. And it brought millions into the financial system who were just ignored before.
Right, tackling bureaucracy in one country is one thing, but Africa, the challenge there was often payment systems just not working together across borders. Which brings us to Flutterwave in Nigeria.
Absolutely. Flutterwave essentially had to build a highway before anyone could drive on it. They created this foundational layer, this unified API, so businesses could take all sorts of payments cards, mobile money, bank transfers from anywhere in Africa, all with one single integration. They're really the backbone for so much African e-commerce scaling up.
So when you look across all these examples, Grab dealing with cash, Nubank fighting bureaucracy, Flutterwave connecting payments, the common thread seems really clear. Success comes from deeply understanding and, crucially, solving those very specific local problems first.
That's exactly it. That's the core lesson. Now, here's something for you to chew on. We've seen these super apps like Grab and Nubank that bundle lots of services for consumers. And then we've seen the focused, deep tech B2B players like DeepL and Uzard. Thinking about emerging markets, infrastructure challenges, which model do you think has the edge for future growth? The all-in-one super app or the specialized deep tech tool? Which approach is likely to dominate? Worth considering.